Okay. Well, here's what that email said. Let's see. Here's the email. Regarding the crackling, I finally found some information that somewhat coincides with our situation. When you guys do the Hangouts on air, I need to know what web browser you're running it through. What are you running it through? Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer? Chrome. I need to know the kind of Logitech webcam you are using, the model type, the number, etc. Can you get that?
Round 2 of Sports Talk up next with your hosts Phil Kornbluth, Will Pelagic, and the Professor Tom Hay. Don't leave us hanging. Join the show, 800-956-7266.
Got it. Thank you.
Welcome back to Sports Talk South Carolina Radio Network on this beautiful evening in Palmetto State. Will Pelagic along with Phil Kornbluth, Professor Tom Hayes. I am at Spirit Communications Park in Columbia, where College of Charleston has taken a 1-0 lead on South Carolina. We play early in the opening inning. Dupree Hart, who also had a very great high school football career in this state, hit the first pitch, or hit the second pitch of the game out to left center field to give the Cougars a 1-0 lead. Bradley Dixon with an RBI single, or with a single following Hart there, with a chance to basically give College of Charleston a little bit more. Luke Morgan is struck out here in the opening inning, 1 out and 1 on for the Cougars as they bat here in the opening inning. Phil Kornbluth is currently in Greenwood with the golf tournament going on there for the developmental part of the LPGA Tour. And, Corn, I understand you have the tournament's organizer in your grasp currently.
Absolutely. Good friend of ours here on Sports Talk. We've talked to him many times, and we've been here for the tournament. Jim Medford, who, along with his untold number of volunteers, have put this event on now for 5 years, and it's become a very important part of the sports scene here in the Greenwood area. I can tell you from talking to many of the players and some of the Hall of Famers who've been here over the years, they love coming to Greenwood and they love coming to this event. So, Jim, first of all, it's great to have you back with us here on Sports Talk. Congratulations for everything. I know this one is a little different because at least for the immediate future, this is your last event.
Yeah, Phil, thank you. Thank you for, being here with us. And it has been a labor of love. We've done this for 5 years, but it takes a whole village to raise a child or a tournament, and that's truly what goes on here at Greenwood. But it's a full year effort to do this. But it's been very rewarding on a number of ways. One, we've been the largest purse on the LPGA Symetra Tour. We've kind of helped set the bar higher for the overall tour. We were the first with both largest purses. We had to raise our ante one year because somebody tried to give us a little competition. And like you, Phil, I'm a little competitive, so that wasn't going to happen. So we've raised the overall average purse on the LPGA Symetra Tour since we got involved. Locally, we've raised $1.3 million that we've given back to local women's and children's charities and causes and needs. So that's been huge. That's been a game changer for what we've been able to do in recognition of that here locally. We helped put Greenwood on the map. We've been on the Golf Channel, on Morning Drive. We've had, billboards, your show, other multimedia events promoting the tournament over the years. So it's really been worth the effort, and we're excited. When we say it's our last year, I think we're going to just take a year or two hiatus because our team is tired. I'm tired. We need just to hit the reset, and we'll come back with another really exciting twist to this.
That sounds great. I know that you will, and we look forward to being here when you come back. The course, of course, has a great layout to it, parts of it around Lake Greenwood. Like a lot of golf courses in the Southeast, you're struggling a little bit in some areas with the grass because of the weather. Overall, how do you feel the course is set up and ready to go for the tournament?
Well, we've had a lot of compliments for it. We've really focused hard on the fairways and greens because that's what it's all about, except for if you're playing in a Pro-Am like Phil, then the rough comes into play a little bit. But now the fairways and greens are in really, really, really good shape. As you know, living in the Southeast after a hard winter and a lot of wetness, we've got some what they call winter kill spots, which is kind of like it's a circle. It's really just a brown circle. It's still grass. It's just not aesthetically green. So we have a few spots like that, but with the weather coming in at 90 degrees for the first time this year, this weekend, we will probably be pretty well in tip-top shape by early next week. But the course is playing extremely well. The greens are running about 11 on the stemp meter, and it's as you know, we've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and money into this course. So we've worked on details and aesthetics. We have a great par 3 on Lake Greenwood that's become the LPGA version of the Waste Management Hole 16 out in Arizona. We have boats tied up there on the weekend. We have your affiliate radio station broadcasting live from there, playing music. The fans are very respectful, but they're rowdy after the tee shot's been hit as far as how close they get to the pin on the green. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's a beautiful golf hole, and not one that I have mastered, by the way. In my times out here, I have dunked more balls in there than I've hit the green. So, but it's a great setting. You're right. They bring the boats up, and they have a big party. It's a great time. What about? I had the pleasure today of playing with a young lady from. Well, she's from New Jersey, but she went to Southern Cal, became an All-American, and made the LPGA Tour last year. Lost her cards, trying to get it back. Karen Chung. And just watching her hit the ball, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. She told me she averages 270 off the tee. So the point is, you want to come out and see great golf. Doesn't matter whether it's PGA, LPGA, Symetra. These girls can play, and they'll show you some great stuff on the course.
Yeah, you know, the difference between, all of these players on the Symetra Tour are all collegiate superstars from all over the world. We actually have, I think, 17 different countries and players represented from 17 different countries playing here this weekend. And the only difference between them and their LPGA card is usually what happens on the green with the flat stick, because they can all boom it out there. They all have the shots. But, and it's no different on the LPGA Tour. The difference between the top 10 and the Journey people that are out there battling week after week is just the short game. And but we've seen some incredible play out here. It is exciting. It's fun. And this is the best that we have to offer as in the U.S. as far as work ethic for these girls. These girls come in here. We have a fully equipped fitness center here that we close for the week. These girls are in here at the crack of dawn working out. Then they go out and pound balls until, it's time to tee off. So they work hard at their sport. They're committed to it, and they are top athletes.
Well, I want to thank you for including us, Carl Punt from iHeartMedia over in Greenville, our affiliate there, for involving us, and thank you for having us here over the years. We wish you the best of luck with this year's event. We encourage people to come out. There's baseball going on in some areas, but if you want to see some really good golf, and you can get up close and watch the young ladies play and basically reach out and touch them as they go by. But you get to see some spectacular golf. We invite everybody to come out to Greenwood, to Lake Greenwood, to the links of Stony Point, and take in all the action this weekend. It begins bright and early tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's a 4-day tournament. We have a full field like we do every year because of the size of our purse, because whoever wins this tournament pretty much is guaranteed their LPGA status for next season. So this is our 5th year. Our 4 previous winners are all playing on the LPGA Tour. So that's exciting to be able to see that, know that they've had, and, a few years from now, you're seeing their names and watching them on TV, and you think, boy, I met her. I know when she was playing here. Yeah, it's a great weekend. It's a full field of 144 players. After Friday night, the field is cut to 60 plus ties. And Saturday and Sunday is the top 60.
Jim, thanks so much. Great seeing you again.
Thank you, Phil.
All right, Jim Medford, who is the owner out here and the operator of the tournament, and they have done a fabulous job over the years. And we wish them the best of luck for this year's tournament, and look forward to being back out here soon when they bring something else special out here to the links of Stony Point. Clemson has put a 5 spot on the board in the second to take a 5-2 lead on Western Carolina. Coastal's up on North Carolina 3-0 in the fourth. Will, what do you have?
1-0 count to Charleston. They play now in the bottom of the first. Carmen Majinski got a couple of strikeouts to get himself out of the opening inning after allowing the leadoff home run to Dupree Hart. We'll continue to monitor things here at Clemson and in Conway, and we'll hear some more from head coach Frank Martin of the Gamecock basketball team when we return on a jam-packed edition of Sports Talk for this Wednesday in South Carolina Radio Network.
You would not believe the spread they've got outside.
You gonna bring me something back?
Oh, I mean, they've got this is a pig. It's a true pig picking. They got the poor old pigs just spread out there for you. Bless their little hearts. Lord have mercy, this is good.
Yeah, keep that camera off, buddy.
Thank you, guys. This is unbelievable. All right, how's everything back there?
Everything's good.
So I've got a player coming up here right now, so we'll do her. And then we'll come back with some more Frank Martin. Okay. We're doing our we have a second remote going on from a baseball game.
Oh, okay.
So we had to slim down our equipment. But we still sound good.
So we're sharing.
We still sound good. Yeah. What I'm going to do is.
Can you hear out of those headphones?
Yes. Thank you. You saved me because I must have left mine at home. Oh, yeah. And it was going to be a real pain otherwise. Yeah. What I'll do is I'm just going to hold this and I'll boom, boom, yeah. Boom, boom.
We can do that.
But now, give me your, spell your name for me again.
Brittany. Last name Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Benvenuto.
UTO. Benvenuto.
What?
It's like corn blue. A lot of letters.
Means welcome in Italian.
Mine means blue blood in German, I think.
Really?
Are you going to want another player after this or no?
No, we'll be good.
Are we good?
Yeah, because we're low. We got some stuff we got to do from the other location.
Okay.
But this will be just great.
Brittany, nice meeting you.
You too.
Brittany Benvenuto. Let me look you up here. So you're on the LPGA tour and this tour.
Got it. Yes.
See, I'm all over it.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks again, Jim.
Yeah, good luck, everybody. Yes. Hey, this is all.
Players.
I have one.
Now, what's your hometown?
Langhorne, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Where'd you go to school?
University of Arizona. What?
It's good. You're Wildcat.
Yes, sir.
Now, give me a little history. Were you All-American? What did you? No?
Nope. I didn't play very good in college.
Okay.
I kind of peaked when I was coming out of college.
Mm-hmm.
But I played on Metro the last couple of years. I came in. This is my first Metro event this year.
This is your first Metro event. Okay. So you wouldn't be on this list of
nope.
money list.
I came in 16th on the money list 2 years ago and 20th before that. And last year I had an injury, so I actually had to take a medical.
Gotcha.
So this is, and I'm a rookie on the LPGA.
So you're a rookie on the LPGA.
Mm-hmm.
Can I find you on the LPGA tour?
Yeah. You can find me here too, though.
I can find you in the submission.
Just search players.
Oh. See if it comes up under your first
Oh, you click on my Go back.
Sports Talk is the sports talk show of Main Street, South Carolina. From the coast to the mountains, we cover it all.
Welcome back to Sports Talk South Carolina Radio Network. Monitoring a couple of high-profile baseball games here in the state. College of Charleston with a 1-0 lead on South Carolina as they play here in the opening inning, and a ground ball play by Jonah Bride has ended the opening inning. So College of Charleston will take a 1-0 lead into the second inning. Clemson's given one back to Western Carolina. That's 5-3 currently at Doug Kingsmore Stadium there in the third inning, top of the third there. Coastal Carolina still shutting out North Carolina 3-0 there in the fourth at Springbrook Stadium in Conway. One recruiting note to pass along to you on the women's basketball side for Clemson. Amanda Butler has gotten a transfer from Tennessee Martin. Kendall Spray announcing on her Twitter that she's transferring to Clemson. Sophomore guard. Currently, she'll sit 1 year to play a pair. Former Ohio Valley Conference Freshman of the Year. She averaged 17 points per contest in her sophomore season at UT Martin. Shot 43% on 3 points as a sophomore. So someone who can contribute down the road for Amanda Butler's squad. Corn, I understand you have one of the LPGA professional hopefuls there with you.
Absolutely. In fact, I've got somebody who is actually on the LPGA Tour, but she also plays the Symetra Tour, and she's here for this weekend's events. Brittany Benvenuto, a native of Pennsylvania who played at the University of Arizona, but is now a professional golfer, has done some good things on both tours, and now she is going to make her debut on the Symetra Tour for this season, this weekend, with her hopes, of course, of getting back to the LPGA Tour and doing some good things there. But first of all, thank you for being with us, and tell us about what you think of the course. I know you got a chance to play what you called an emergency 9 this morning after getting here late. What do you think of the place? How do you think you're going to do?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I look forward to this event every year. I think this is like my 4th year here. And I love the golf course. I like the layout of the course. It's always in pretty good shape for us when we come. And, you know, it's exciting. They do a great job here, and they make us really feel welcome. So
this is a tournament where fan involvement is of paramount, especially along the lake when they got the boats there and the fans are making a lot of noise. How does that make you girls feel on the course to have that kind of involvement at this level on the Symetra Tour, to know that people are coming out to root you on?
It's awesome. The one thing that I really enjoy in the LPGA is playing in front of crowds. So when we get to certain cities that really embrace the tour and us, it's awesome. We feel comfortable. It's fun to play in front of a crowd. The 13th hole here is something that we don't get. I don't even think I've experienced that on the LPGA. So this is something that's really special.
Is it a little sad for you players knowing that this tournament's going to go away at least for a year or two, hopefully coming back maybe in 2020, 2021, going to leave a little void on the schedule?
It's going to leave a big void. That's kind of I did not know that until I got here. The rumor mill was going through the rumor mill. It's really disappointing because this is, for the last couple of years, it's been a staple on the tour. It's been something that everyone looks forward to. It's been kind of a major championship kind of feel when we come here. So it is going to leave a big void. I have high hopes that it'll come back, but you know, we'll just see what happens.
Explain to me how it works for you playing on both the LPGA Tour and this tour. How do you manage that? What are the requirements for being able to stay up on the LPGA and then drop down here?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult. I have conditional status on the LPGA, so I have dual status. So I have status on both tours, and you can't really plan when you have this type of status. You know, you have one good week on LPGA, and you could jump up on that list and get reshuffled and play the rest of the year out there. If not, you fill your off weeks with Symetra Tour events. So it just kind of depends how you play. You can't really plan too far ahead, and you have to stay in the moment. So it's good for little patience, practice, and training.
Absolutely. We're visiting with Brittany Benvenuto, who is here for the Symetra Tour event here at Lake Greenwood at the links at Stony Point. So, you know, you grew up playing golf in Pennsylvania. Obviously, you love the game of golf, but now you're a pro, and it's a job as well. This is how you make your living. How do you balance out your love for the game along with the requirements from a business standpoint, knowing you got to go out and make some money to earn a living?
Yeah, I've learned a lot of self-discipline through this because no one's really forcing you to practice and go out there and stick to your schedule. So you have to be, regimented. But like you said, you can't really do anything in life if it's not fun, So like this morning, you mentioned I went out for an emergency 9. It was beautiful. 6:30 in the morning. I was by myself with my caddy. I mean, it was gorgeous. And you get this feeling of like, wow, this is why I like to play golf. I love this. And so it balances out. You get those special moments in the week, but it's also a grind sometimes. And like any job, even a job that you love, some of it's work, and that's okay.
I mean, it's got to be a grind because, people like me who love to play golf, we play once or twice, maybe a month. We pick up the clubs, we go out there, we hack it around. But like today, we're out playing on the Pro-Am, and there's dozens of players at every part of the practice area working on putting, driving, the short game. And you guys, you're just not loading up the golf cart and going out and having a fun 18. Right. I mean, you're spending all day at the links and you're working on every aspect of your game.
Yeah, and I think it takes a special person because you have to love that. You have to love to work at that craft, get better at your craft and figure out, all the intricacies of the game and your game. And, that's what we love. We love that challenge. So as much as it might seem like a grind or work to others, and there's part of it that's a grind, but I would say a lot of the girls just love that part of it. And that's why they're out here.
Can you win this event? Do you think you can finish high up in the money? Who do you think are the favorites?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple good years here. I think maybe not a top 10, but I've been close. So I'm, I like my chances going into this week. I don't know who the favorites are. Like I said, this is my first week out on Symetra, so it's only the 4th event. So, anyone who tees it up has a chance in my eyes. So that's, we'll see what happens.
And you were mentioning to me before we came on the air that you just came in from, I think, Texas, and you had a U.S. Open qualifier. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I played the LPGA event in Dallas and then got on a plane and then played 36 holes on Monday in Atlanta for the U.S. Open qualifier and missed it by 2 shots.
Man, yeah. Kicking the teeth.
Yeah, it was. It was nice to play well, though, but that's a grind, 36 holes in one day, so... I'm a little tired, but I got my E9 in this morning. I'm playing at 2:00 tomorrow. I feel, I'll feel good.
Yeah, you can sleep in a little bit.
Sure.
Last thing, what's the best part of your game? What do you do well?
My iron play. It's always been. I just put me in the fairway, and I like to kind of flight the ball and in there and stick it. So that's my favorite part of the game too.
Well, thank you for joining us. Good luck this weekend. You're now the official golf favorite of Sports Talk all across the state of South Carolina. We're going to be keeping an eye on you. Hope it goes well and, cash a check.
Yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Brittany Benvenuto, who is going to be here playing. If you're coming out to watch, look for Brittany. You heard her say she's going out at 2:00 tomorrow afternoon. So Pennsylvania native who played at the University of Arizona. As Jim said, I mean, the field is loaded with all-stars from the collegiate ranks. I didn't tell this to Brittany, but I played today with Karen Chung from Southern Cal. Don't know if you know her, All-American, and she is she actually played on the LPGA last year. Now she's trying to get back up there. So we wish them all good luck. Should be a lot of fun, and Will, update us on the baseball.
First off, I want to know how you shot today. That's what I want to know.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. I don't like to lie about my golf game. I like to be truthful. I rolled in 2 magnificent birdie putts, okay? And one was a true birdie. We played my ball on a par 3. I actually hit the green without hitting a tree, didn't bounce off rocks. It actually flew to the green and stopped. And I hit the green and made the putt. It was about, I'm not going to exaggerate, maybe 80 feet. No, it was. It was more like 40. It was a long putt. And then on my last hole, my last stroke of the day, I rolled in another birdie putt for us. So I don't know if we finished in the money. We were birdieing almost every hole. So I don't know if we finished among the top or not. But I had a pretty good day. Hit the driver well. The bad thing is that Miss Chung hits the ball 270 yards. Okay, so 2 of my drives would equal 1 of hers.
Most likely. Coastal Carolina leads 3-0 over North Carolina. Clemson still up 5-3 on Western Carolina. They're in the 3rd. They're in the 5th at Coastal Carolina. 1-0. College of Charleston leads, bottom of the 2nd. here at Spirit Communications Park. We'll hear more from the Gamecock head coach when we come back, and also update you some more about what we see out here at the ballpark in Columbia.
SportsTalkSC.
Yeah, very simple.
Yeah, I can
Okay. We tweet. We put our show on Twitter. So you can, if you go to the website, you can, but no, you can just go to the website and pull up tonight's show.
Okay.
Fast forward to
whatever
it is, and you'll hear it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yep. Mm. Mm, 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 mm.
Welcome back to Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network on this Wednesday evening. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. Again, South Carolina trailing 1-0 to College of Charleston right now. The Cougars on top thanks to a leadoff home run by Dupree Hart. We were talking before the game, Corn, about the particular reception that Chad Holbrook will get if and when announced, and the answer is really there was no opportunity to give Holbrook either an ovation or a a boo, if you will. They did not announce the head coaches for either side at the start of the game, and I think that might have been done by design in order to prevent an awkward situation in that regard. Just saying, they did not allow for that particular reaction to take place. Now we'll see if Chad goes out to the mound and gets something out of Evan Sisk, whether that will draw the ire of Gamecock fans or perhaps the pleasure of Gamecock fans. But at least in that regard, Corn, not an opportunity to really see how the Gamecock fans feel about the former head coach.
Interesting. Yeah, I think Pro is barking up the right tree there. Then again, I mean, who knows if that's typically when a lineup is announced, they announce the name of the the manager of the team, the coach of the team. I think they do. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Oftentimes I'm not there in time for the opening lineup to be announced. But if that's the case, if they wanted to avoid doing that, to avoid any sort of negativity, he's going to have to pop out of the dugout at some point in time. I guess he's the guy that goes out. I mean, in South Carolina's case, Skylar Meade goes out and makes the pitching changes, not Mark Kingston. You hardly see Mark Kingston unless he comes out to argue a call. He's usually, tucked inside the dugout.
But I mean, in my way, I think, though, Corn, in this regard, you have to think about it from this perspective. These two guys are former collegiate teammates, so they're kindred spirits there. They want to continue this event, I think, in the future. So that's one thing you have to think about from that perspective. And the other thing, too, is the fact that they want to do the best, kind of almost in the vein of what Frank Martin says a lot of times with promoting basketball in the state. South Carolina, whether you like it or not, they are the flagship baseball school in this state, and they want to at least promote that kind of leadership from that perspective. So at least in that regard, maybe they're using discretion as the greater part of valor there from that perspective. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? That's possible. But what I was going to say was when Holbrook was at USC, of course, he had Jerry Myers as his pitching coach, and Jerry went out and made all the pitching changes. So, it might be one of those deals where Chad never has to come out of the dugout unless he goes out to argue a call. Whatever the case may be, all he's thinking about right now is the fact that he's got his number one starter going and he's got a 1-0 lead. So things could not be working out any better for him. And the question is, how much is South Carolina going to miss T.J. Hopkins at the top of the lineup tonight? And can they get to Sisk and get into that Charleston bullpen, which I think's got to be a little tired after last night's game against the Citadel. I don't know exactly how many pitchers they used, but I'm sure they ran several arms out there because it was a pretty high-scoring game. Clemson leading Western Carolina 5-3. It's in the top of the fourth. Coastal leading North Carolina 3-0. That's in the bottom of the fifth. Give you a few other scores. Wofford over Upstate 7-1. It's in the bottom of the fourth. Cincinnati leading Louisville 3-0. Top of the first. Jacksonville and Florida State are 3-3. And Davidson is leading defeated Presbyterian. That's a final. Davidson 8 and Presbyterian 4. I should mention, of course, the other big news of the night, America's team, the New York Yankees, with a 1-0 lead over. Let me refresh that. Russia's team, Boston, now with a 2-1 lead on the Yankees. Sorry to report. And America's basketball team, the Celtics, will go for the series win tonight at home against the hated 76ers.
To answer your question, they did use 3 pitchers last night. Zach Williams went an inning and 2/3. Carter Love went 6 innings of relief for the win for College of Charleston, allowing only 1 run over those 6, despite the high scoring. Again, Williams basically allowed the brunt of the scoring from Citadel, and then Nathan Ocker pitched the final 4 outs for the save. So from College of Charleston's perspective, they're actually in pretty darn good shape, especially when you think about the fact that they can maybe back themselves up with their Saturday or Sunday starters to possibly give them a couple innings if need be behind their usual Friday night starter, Evan Sisk, who is starting tonight and has faced the minimum for the first 2 innings. College of Charleston has added another run here after an RBI single by guess who? Dupree Hart. He is 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs, and the Cougars have a 2-0 lead over the Gamecocks. Again, 5-3 Clemson over Western Carolina, 3-0 Coastal Carolina over UNC. Earlier today, again, as we talked about earlier, we heard from head coach Frank Martin, and really the biggest question now on Gamecock fans' minds is whether or not Brian Bowen will stick around or whether or not he will go to the NBA draft. Frank Martin provided at least the least he can do on that situation.
If all options were equal, I don't like speaking for people. My conversations with him, his mom, his dad, if all options were equal, he'd be a Gamecock next year. And but there's an unknown right now, and this is what we're doing. We're going to get to the combine because he is invited to the combine, and when the combine's over, there'll be a more informed opinion as to the NBA option. And then probably sometime between the combine and the 30th, make a decision. Hopefully the NCAA's made a decision by then. We're not trying to force the NBA, NC2A. We're not trying to force them into a decision. We all know, that whole dynamic of everything, and we're sensitive to that. We're not trying to rush anything through or push something through because there's a talented player. We all understood this when we agreed to form a partnership. And I got to tell you this, what a great partnership. Just you guys are getting ready to start talking to him here pretty soon when he gets back off the road and all that. Emily and I have spoken about because he completed his first semester to make him available to you guys, even though we're out of season, but he's a different scenario. You'll see what an engaging, just simple, just humble person. But I can tell you this, you'll see it whenever he sits down with you guys here in the near future. Just loves being a Gamecock. I mean, absolutely loves it here. It's he's to quote his mom, it's the happiest she's seen him in a long, long time. And which tells me that what the experience here is, the people that are in place here in the support system can create that kind of joy for him. That's what makes this such a special place.
I'll go around the room. How many games does Brian Bowen play for USC? Corn.
How many games does he play for USC? 0.
Professor Tom Hayes.
I would say, and I'm just guessing, half of next season, and that's it. But I will say this. When you're an organization like the NCAA, we know you have important decisions to make. But you are not at a point where you don't make a decision where all parties involved can make plans on what their next step is. To pretend that you're so important that you don't know the guy has a schedule where he has to decide in a few weeks whether he's going to go to the next level or not is ludicrous to me. It almost looks like the NCAA is playing like the emperor in Gladiator and waiting there holding his thumb up whether to say thumbs up or thumbs down rather than just make a quick decision or shall I say a prudent decision, depending on what reports they get from the FBI, to tell the guy, look, you're not going to play at the University of South Carolina, so you might as well go pro. Or tell him he can stay in college and plan for his immediate future as a college player. But to have him just hanging in the lurch is ridiculous to me.
I think he plays the SEC season. He plays 18 games and then goes to the NBA. I think he has to sit out the non-conference part of the season, and then he will play the SEC season, basically what amounts to being the winter semester. 2-0 College Charleston leads South Carolina. That game, this game currently being played in the top of the third inning. A big, big game going on in Conway. We'll keep you updated on in Clemson as well.
Now back to Sports Talk, South Carolina's most listened to sports talk show for more than 30 years.
Welcome back to Spirit Communications Park. Also, welcome back to Greenwood. Welcome back to anywhere you might be listening to us across the great Palmetto State on Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network. A great celebration of sports in this state. The golf where Corn is in Greenwood, the baseball where we are here, also baseball in Clemson and in Conway. I mean, Corn, this is about as high profile a midweek evening as we've had here in the state, with not only the 3 games we have going on here at Clemson, Coastal, and South Carolina, but a couple of games going on elsewhere. Wofford, USC Upstate also going on, and also not to mention the golf that you guys are seeing up there with the Pro-Am and the tournament which begins tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. I'm glad that we could be here for that, and I'm glad we can be at Spirit Communications Park in Columbia for that. Let's go back to this game for a moment, guys. It's 2-0 College of Charleston leading the Gamecocks. Gamecocks do not have a hit yet, bottom of the third. It's still early, but, you know, South Carolina has created a lot of momentum and a lot of positive vibes around the program by its recent play. But if they lose this game tonight to the College of Charleston and you're a South Carolina fan, I mean, it hurts in a number of different ways, you know, beyond the stuff about the tournament and the RPI and all that. I mean, you're a Gamecock fan. You see your team lose the series to Clemson, lose to Furman, lose to Presbyterian, now suffer to what a lot of Gamecock fans who hated Chad Holbrook, maybe the greatest indignity of them all, and that is to lose to Chad Holbrook and the College of Charleston if this holds up. Now, I know it's a long way to go. So, I mean, this South Carolina team better wake up here pretty soon and get it going against a very good Charleston pitcher, or you know, the fans aren't going to be very pleased about that, even though they got a lot of good things happening SEC-wise. Missouri coming in this weekend for the last SEC regular season series. They're up on the 2 line now by the projections. A lot of that goodwill that's been built up here can be wiped out by a loss tonight.
It can, Corn, and I think, you know, the real, I would say, feather that College of Charleston can put in their cap here is the fact that they are at least able to kind of look at this game differently than South Carolina. And again, our apologies, I think, for not seeing that sooner. But, you know, this makes total sense from their perspective. I almost look at this just in outlining where South Carolina's schedule is right now. I know that this is the only game that they have in the midweek, but agreeing to play this game under these auspices, especially with the standpoint of College of Charleston able to line up their pitching, this has the makings of what could be a buzzsaw for the Gamecocks.
Oh, well, it could, but then again, you don't panic. I'm just like Eddie Fogler the time when they lost to Clemson. And I think he asked you, Corn, yeah, but suppose we go on and win the SEC title. What do you think people will say? Will they be satisfied? So I think in any sports fan, you take the good with the bad. I've always said that when something bad happens, there's a blessing coming right around the corner.
Yeah, but let me throw this out at you guys. I missed that totally, Will, and I don't know if anybody else. I haven't read all the preview stories leading up to it. I don't know if anybody in previewing this game mentioned that Charleston was off this weekend coming, and thus would be set up to use their starting pitchers. You know, I wonder, is this just coincidence that it worked out this way for Charleston, or did they schedule their season working with the CAA to set it up this way so that Chad Holbrook knew when he came to Columbia, he could treat this like a Friday night CAA game with the top of his rotation and the heart of his bullpen ready to go?
I mean, it's something. I don't want to say something. I don't want to accuse the former Gamecock head coach of doing something nefarious. But I mean,
no. What I'm saying is, it's like the Gamecocks were suckered here. It's like, okay, we'll play. We'll come to Columbia. We'll
their own conference. Yeah,
we'll play at that park. Number one, he agreed to come, but not go to Founders Park. Number two, somehow, some way, they got it set up so he could use his. You never see this in the midweek, except, Carolina and Clemson play on the weekends early in the season. But you hardly ever face the other opponent's number one pitcher on a midweek game. This happened to South Carolina a couple of years ago. They lost to Winthrop, and Winthrop had their ace going. They threw their top guy and beat him, if my memory serves me right. And now South Carolina's facing the same thing. Now, Mark Kingston, if they lose this game, he's not going to make a bunch of excuses. He's not going to come out and say, they threw their number one guy. We had to go with a midweek guy, blah, blah, blah. He's going to blame his guys for not hitting no matter whoever it happened to be on the mound. It's just, I'm glad you pointed this out. I was not aware of this going into the game. I find that very interesting how it worked out in the schedule for the Cougars.
Well, right now, Majinski is laboring a bit. He got himself through the second inning fine, but the first inning and third inning were trouble spots for him with the leadoff homer by Hart and then his RBI single that knocked in Richter, who led off the third with a triple. The first two have reached via singles here in the top of the fourth, and right now, if you're Mark Kingston, I mean, I don't want to say you have to manage this game desperately, Corn, but, I'm right now – I'm feeling the heat right now on my neck if I'm him right now. I don't know how you feel.
Well, yeah, it's what I said. I mean, I don't know if he's feeling the heat, right now, fourth inning. And, his team has shown the propensity for coming from behind and not caving in. But, Charleston, their number one guy, obviously is a good pitcher. You're without one of your leading hitters, one of your hottest hitters of late. And, it's not going well for him right now. And it goes back to, another midweek loss. We already pointed out that the Gamecocks have more losses to the Group 4 of the RPI. Those teams in Group 4, they have more losses than the top 60 teams in the RPI. This would be just another one. That's not how you want to that's not a good look on your resume when it comes down to it, even though right now they're projected as a number 2. I think a loss tonight, regardless of what happens the rest of the way, could knock them down back to the 3 line because this would be another midweek loss to a what's considered a lower level program in terms of the league and the RPI. So critical game for South Carolina as it is for Charleston.
Think about what we've said that the Gamecocks need to do to basically treat themselves as NCAA tournament solid. They needed to win the series against Ole Miss, had a chance to sweep, missed that opportunity, but they got what they needed to have done. I think you have to sweep Missouri. I think there's no two ways about it. You have to sweep a team that is currently last in the SEC East, and you have to at least show some supremacy in your final home series. You have to steal at least a game at Texas A&M, and I'm not saying you have to have a prolonged stay at Hoover, but you probably have to win a game in Hoover in order to keep yourself in an advantageous situation come NCAA tournament time. A loss here, I mean, this just increases the incline that they have to go uphill in my mind, Corn.
But here's the question. The other thing you're leaving out is they have to stop having these nagging injuries that keeps guys out of the lineup, which what I'm trying to say is you cannot control. The key point is they just have to play their game. If they stay healthy, they'll be in the NCAAs.
All right, I'm going to leave you with this. First of all, I want to thank Jim Medford and the people here at the Lynx of Stony Point and the people with the Symetra Tour for taking good care of us. Will, I know you fancy yourself quite the eater. They have a spread downstairs. I've already had some brought up to me. They have a spread downstairs that would bring tears to your eyes. I'll just, yeah.
Well, I have a street taco stand that's next to me that I'm going.
No, we're talking full blown pig picking with barbecue chicken, all the trimmings, everything you want in a Southern pig picking is taking place downstairs. You cannot top what I've had tonight. No, sir.
Well, the Gamecocks will need to pick some pigs of their own if they want to get themselves back in this baseball game. They trail 2-0 to College of Charleston right now as we sit here in the top of the fourth inning. We'll continue to keep you updated at SportsTalkSC on Twitter. We'll all be back for you in the studio on Thursday evening. We'll talk to you then. Until tomorrow, for the Pro, for the Corn, I'm Will. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network.
Hey, very good. Hey, make sure Will's still there once you drop everything so we can chat real quick. And then I'll do recruiting. Why did Earl Grant throw the first pitch if this is a USC home game?
Are you good?
Yeah, is Will still there?
Nah, he's gone.
I need you to talk to him. Let's do recruiting real quick.
All right, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Oh. All right, I'm ready.
By the way, did you record the PSA that Will read? That little piece that he read?
Oh, I did not. I didn't know I was supposed to.
Yeah, I'm just seeing an email here from Jason. He said, I guess you can do it tomorrow night, record it, and let him, and then send it to Jason.
Okay.
Make a note of that. I'll send it over to Will as well. Hang on 1 second. Jimmy was even two players, Shannon Fish, now Hunter Lyons. Nope, didn't happen. We had a good girl on though. She was good. I think we had a very clean show.
Yeah, it was good. Everything worked. The equipment worked. I was happy with that.
Yeah, I think we had a very clean show. Did my signal hold together well?
Sure did.
Okay. All right, here we go. Coming down in 3, 2, 1. Defensive back J.R. Walker of Elizabeth City, North Carolina. In 3, 2, 1. Defensive back J.R. Walker of Elizabeth City, North Carolina, released a top 5 of. In 3, 2, 1. Defensive back J.R. Walker of Elizabeth City, North Carolina, released a top 5 Wednesday. USC, NC State, Duke, North Carolina, and Virginia. He says NC State is the favorite, but just slightly ahead of USC. Clemson is working hard for offensive lineman Jake Hornibrook out of Malvern, Pennsylvania. He's a teammate of Clemson commitment linebacker Keith McGuire. Hornibrook visited Clemson unofficially last week, and Clemson recruiter Brent Venables has been up to see him. Right now, the Tigers are high up on his list, with Duke, Northwestern, Stanford, North Carolina, and Boston College also strongly involved. Let's see here. I got to pick out a couple of things here. And we'll pick this up here in 3, 2, 1. And USC has offered another young quarterback. The Gamecocks are the first to offer 2021 quarterback Jake Rubley of Littleton, Colorado. Phil Kornblut, South Carolina, Radio Network Sports.
All right, Phil. I'm going to cut this down.
We all good?
Yeah, it should be good. I'm going to go ahead and cut it down and see what happens.
Okay, bro. Thanks.
All right, man.
I won't see you till I'm not back in the studio till Tuesday. I'm off tomorrow and Friday, and then Monday we've got the Hall of Fame thing. So I will be on the air for a little bit on Monday, then I'll see you Tuesday.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.